Well, welcome back to episode 23 of Fourth and Three Dudes. I'm Chris Demma here in Peachtree Corners, Georgia. Got my two co-hosts. We went back to the basics. No special guest this time. I know everybody's probably incredibly disheartened, but go ahead and introduce yourselves, gentlemen.
Chris Burnett, down here in St. Mary's, Georgia.
Cord,
Cord.
former Division I mathlete and award-winning podcaster.
I know, man, that was such a surprise last year, but a nice surprise at that. So, speaking of nice surprises, it was nice again to have a bye week last week, but I guess we still need to start off with what you're drinking. I will go first. It was our homebrew club meeting yesterday, and we were talking about Oktoberfest, so I'm going with a Hacker Score Oktoberfest because we are in the season. A nice Marzen. Fantastic.
I had a bit of a sour stomach earlier, so I'm going with water.
I'm having a little Vino Tinto, but I think it was mislabeled at Aldi because this is white wine.
What would Tinto be? What would Vino Tinto be?
Red wine.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely not red.
Vino Whitey, I guess.
You're the California Coast guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, it was nice to have a bye week last week, hoping that Georgia has had some time to iron out some of the issues we had on the defense against Tennessee and get some people healthy. But I think we first need to go ahead and start talking about last week's game. So how about them Beavers, Cord?
Actually, it was a win for us. The first quarter, 7-7 against Oregon.
Hey.
At Oregon. Dude, that was huge. They stopped Oregon, and they had to punt, and they came back and drove it down and scored. And I was like, wow, we got a game. And then second quarter, Oregon's defense showed up and just shut everything down.
Yeah.
So, but that was exciting. Good news. I mean, they only had 2 penalties this game, so they weren't really shooting themselves in the foot. But Oregon's D shut down the running game, and then basically it would be first play, 0 to 2 yards run. Second play, incomplete. Third and long, missed it, punting. So that was the last 3 quarters. So, but I did learn that Oregon State has used 9 different offensive line configurations. And that was just the first 2 games. And
against the wall.
Right. And then offensively in the past, first 3 games, they would just kill themselves with the momentum with the penalties. And, it would be out and they'd be punting. So, like I said, that first quarter was good. But Dante Moore, the quarterback for Oregon, man, he's got that back shoulder fade pass dialed in. And the Beavers had good coverage. But, I mean, they were hand fighting. And the hands were right there, but he would just drop it, and they just couldn't cover that. So, that was it. Looks like they're not going to play next year. Oregon's chickening out, but they'll play again in 2027 to.
Oh, they are?
Yeah. We're ready. Bring it on.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, it did look like it was really tough. I mean, yeah, like you said, the first quarter was good, but then after that, it was pretty much locked down by the Oregon defense. So they got a huge game coming up this week. But again,
I had a happy 15 minutes, and that was it.
In other games out there, Ole Miss avoided their trap game that Bernie was warning about and beat down Tulane. So that one was not as close, or wasn't that close, but
no, 45-10. Ole Miss dominated both sides of the ball. Thanks to Mizzou, we got their running back in the portal, Keywan Lacey. He did okay, but that Tranded Chambliss, the quarterback number 2, he's lights out. I think he's better than Austin Simmons.
Right, they've named him the starter this week.
Well, Austin Simmons is the guy that came in last year against us, right?
Yes.
No,
when Dart went out.
Yes,
he's hurt.
Well, no, but he said is the guy that came in last year against Georgia.
He was lights out against Georgia.
Yeah, that was Austin Simmons.
Yeah.
So something about QB2 over there.
So now we have our QB2, and he's 830 yards in the last 2 games, Arkansas and Tulane. No turnovers.
Yep, he's doing well. I mean,
And
is
he can
there?
run, too.
Yeah, because I mean, they did say that. I thought I saw it today. They announced that Chambliss is going to be starting again. But is it because Simmons is still hurt, or is he pretty much just taking over the starting job? Or have you heard much about that?
I
Maybe
heard
both.
today that he's going to have to make a decision. So I think Pat McAfee had Lane Kiffin on, and he was saying, "Hey, is Chambliss going to be starting?" I heard that, and
Mhm.
Lane's like, "Well, I haven't heard it, but I'll let everybody here know." So, but I think, in my opinion, he'll probably go with Chambliss because he's got the hot hand right now,
Yeah,
and he can run a lot better than Simmons. So with LSU's, they got one of the best defenses in the country. So if they're hard on the pass, we have the option to run if he's back there.
yeah. Yep. And another game last week, the Miami versus Florida. That was a nasty weather for that one. It seems like they've been playing a bunch of games in the rain lately, but Miami was able to have a 13-7 lead at the end of the third quarter, then expand it and win 26-7 by the end of the game. But I mean, Florida just looks horrible.
Yeah.
But which is a good thing. Good thing for us.
Right.
But other big games, Mizzou beat South Carolina. Didn't beat it by enough for Bernie our liking, but
Whoops.
but
Can't
I
win 'em all.
mean, you can't win them all. But Hardy went off again in that game. Ran for over 130 yards. Had a couple
That
of
guy's a
touchdowns.
beast.
He is. I mean, transfer from I think Southeast Louisiana or one of the Louisiana schools he
Mhm.
transferred in. But yeah, he's the real deal. I think he's leading the SEC in rushing now. But and of course, my daughter goes to Mizzou, and she had a very fantastic thing befall her when she was out with some of her friends before the game started, and had somebody gift them 3 tickets into a box at Faroe Field, and they went up there. They were actually able to meet a bunch of different people. Were able to meet a former Kansas City Chiefs coach, and I'll drop some pictures in here now. And they got to actually wear Super Bowl rings. So, I mean,
Nice.
yeah,
How about falling upwards?
yes, exactly. And they thought the biggest win of the day was at first when they went out and they only had to pay a $10 cover to get into the bar they went into. And then they came into box seats and Super Bowl rings and everything else. So
Were they there for the whole game?
they were there for the whole game. They went out
Wow.
after the game with the people they met in the box too. So yeah, it was quite an experience and a very, very lucky experience for her. But I think they might get invited back to the box again later this season. Maybe not. They have homecoming this week. Maybe not for this game, but down the road they said they'd probably have them back in. So they handled themselves well enough to get promised the potential of that. So that's
How about
pretty
bringing
cool.
dads up there?
I know. We got to make that plan. Maybe we can talk to them ahead of time. Maybe if they watch the podcast, they'll invite us in too. But
Maybe
anyway.
Katie can call the Oregon State athletic office and get y'all some
Some
sideline
backstage
passes.
passes?
Yeah, when we can only hope. We still got a week. We still got a week and a
tomorrow.
half.
I'll call tomorrow and give you an update.
We got. I mean, like I said, I've bought my Oregon State Go Beavs shirt. So I mean, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. So we just gotta. I mean, yeah, we gotta we gotta figure out the backstage or the sideline passes or figure out something else. But
Just be like Rock. I got some from Rock and Roller Coaster. We'll be in those seats.
oh, there we go. But other big games for the weekend. I mean, it was the Oklahoma Auburn game. That was one where
Great game.
Oklahoma. It was a good game. I know all the Auburn people are yelling at the referees for several of the calls in that game that probably did a good job to flip that script with the non call for the person acting like they're leaving the game and staying in there and catching the touchdown, and the other non fumble or the fumble
Cheaters.
reversal. And so, but
Yeah.
I can't
game
believe
was-
it was that close.
Hey.
With 9 sacks?
I mean,
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Where is Auburn's offensive line? I think it retired with Bruce Pearl because that guy was on his back. That poor kid coming back to his alma
But
mater.
he still had a good game. So and
Yep.
back to the flag on the guy coming off the field. I heard the same thing. Now a lot of fans upset with the rest. What I'd be upset at my own coaches. You're supposed to have someone in the box that can count players and say, "Hey, wait, we got a problem here. There's a guy down in front of their sideline uncovered." So I think it's a dumb rule to be penalized for that. But I guess there's some other plays similar that could be used that would not be fair. But you got to keep track of your opponents. And I haven't heard. Maybe I listened to the wrong, you know, post game wrap up shows, but I haven't heard anybody make that point that they should also be upset with their own coaches.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I guess I didn't even realize that was a rule. I mean, heck,
Me
you're
either.
going to see more people doing it because, like they said, they probably did it knowing it could potentially be called, but they did it on a down and distance where they knew they'd have another couple of downs to try to make it up if it did get called on them. But yeah, I mean, that was crazy. I was trying to figure out when watching the game real time because they had to go to find another camera to be able to even see what happened.
Yeah, it was so close to the sideline.
Right. And then because that guy was so wide open, like all the Auburn people were looking at each other trying to figure out who was supposed to be covering him. And I mean, nobody even had him accounted for at all. So that was, but I mean, it came at a high cost for Oklahoma as well, as they announced that apparently in the first quarter of that game, Mateer actually broke his throwing hand. And he had to have surgery on it today, and he's out probably at least 3 to 4 weeks. He might miss the Red River Shootout. Unless he makes a superhuman comeback from that. But they have a bye week this week and then Kent State the following. But then October 11th is the Red River Shootout with Texas. So
he broke it in the first quarter?
That's what they were saying, the reports I heard today. Yeah, he broke it in the first quarter, but was able to, with adrenaline, or I don't know if they put something in his hand or whatever, but was able to deal with it. But yeah, they realized after the game how it was more serious than they thought. But yeah, I think it was one of the backbones on his throwing hand. I don't know exactly what play he hurt it on, but yeah, they said it was in the first quarter. But yeah, having to have surgery. So I mean, again, it's one thing if you're a receiver or a lineman or something to come back and have that in a brace or whatever. But to be your throwing hand for a quarterback, I think that might be even longer to come back from. Well, who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
Yep, so going to put a dent in his Heisman chances. It actually, in some of the projections, bumped Gunnar Stockton up into the top 5.
Well, you should have stayed at Washington State. It wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, probably true. All right. But well, anyway, I guess one of the other big things that happened this week was the release of the SEC schedule for the next 4 years. Everybody got to see who their 3 common opponents for the 4-year period is, and also where they're going to be playing all their games. So I don't know if y'all had a chance to look at that, but of course, for University of Georgia, our common opponents are going to be, or our perennial opponents will be Auburn, South Carolina, and Florida. What do y'all think about that? Do you think that was the right call, or would you have done something differently? Or
I mean, I guess they could have gone with Kentucky or Tennessee, but I just wanted to make sure Florida and Auburn got on there.
yeah,
and
I would put Alabama or Tennessee in there.
I think Alabama will be tough. I mean, again, that's one of those where I was thinking it was definitely going to have to be somebody out of the old SEC East for sure. But yeah, I was it's one of those where I think they've had to work on distributing it all around, and it's kind of like somebody was talking about on one of the shows I heard today. It was going back to, I think they said Bill Connolly, back like 8 years ago or something, talked about when they were expanding the conference and doing more of the pod kind of structure, and this was kind of what he had predicted a long time ago, even before
2012.
Yeah. So, but yeah, doing South Carolina, I think does make sense because they want to keep the more, I guess, the perennial powers or whatever split up to make a little bit. So anyway, but I guess they can review it every 4 years. But we did get to see that we are actually finally going to get to go to College Station and play Texas A&M in 2 years. So I think a lot of Georgia people didn't think that was ever going to happen since we only played Texas A&M one time since they joined the SEC.
Twice, both
Oh,
in
twice.
Athens.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So, but yeah, we've never been to College Station, but that's going to happen in 2 years. We'll get to go to College Station and back to Austin to play. We'll be in Texas twice that year. So, but I
Ole
guess it was
Miss
also
has LSU, State, and Oklahoma as their three.
gotcha. Yeah. So, I think most of them fell pretty much where people thought they would. I think a couple of them, going back to Missouri, we're wondering why they got paired with Missouri, but somebody's got to. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see. And but yeah, it's nice that now you can actually make plans a little bit ahead of time. You don't know the dates of the games, but at least you can know the years you're going to be playing these to try to get some of these bucket list games if you want to try to go to them as well.
Yeah.
When do they release the schedule dates for next year?
They're released.
No, the game dates.
Oh, the actual game day. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, no, they.
No,
Yeah,
February.
I'm not sure. I can't. Yeah, probably after the season's over, I think. But yeah, I know. Next year we have Auburn, Missouri, Vanderbilt, and Oklahoma at home, and we're going to be traveling to Bama, going back to Ole Miss again, South Carolina, and Arkansas, and then of course we'll have Florida in the bins. Since Jacksonville's starting the renovations on their stadium, we'll be in the bins next year, and then going to Tampa Stadium the following year.
2027. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you like that, or would you rather have had the home and home?
I want to keep it in Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah. I'm
but
just talking
for 2
about during the
years,
renovations.
probably should be home and home. I guess I get it, but they never listen to me anyway. So
And I was talking to somebody about that because the last time we had that home and home, I went to both of those games. Talk about freaking miserable. Holy smokes.
You and Ann went to Gainesville, right?
Yeah, went to Gainesville, Page, and Matt Smith, and all of it. It was pouring down rain. We're doing our if you want to call it a tailgate, in the parking lot or under this overhang for this motel that was down near the stadium. Oh my God, it was miserable, and the game was just about as miserable. And then the following year, they come up to Athens, and Danny Warfel goes for. He might have thrown for 1,000 yards in that game, but that they beat us like 55-7. Yeah. I don't even know. But
as a famous Spurrier hung 50 on us in our own stadium.
Mm-hmm.
So
I got to hear Danny Warfel talk about that at our school. He came and talked when he was with the Desire Street Ministries, which again, he was a really good speaker and everything, but he came and the school where I worked, and he was doing a talk at a chapel service, and one of the first things he did was ask everybody who out there was a bulldog, and all these kids are cheering and yelling. And he goes, "Yeah, you wouldn't be cheering and yelling if you knew who I was," because it was several years after he had retired from the NFL and everything. But yeah, he's like, yeah, he had
go home and tell your daddy.
Yeah, had a real good time visiting up in Athens a few years back. But anyway, so. All right. Well, I guess talking about that, but we can get into, I guess, our not so locks of the week from last week. You got a breakdown on that, Bernie?
Rough week for all three of us. Damon and I lost Missouri, like he mentioned. Missouri won, just didn't score enough points. And Cord pushed with Oklahoma. They were -7. And they won by 7. So their second push early on the season. And then luckily Miranda got our guest host on the board. And he took Miami -7.5, and they eked it out by 19 something points. So yeah, we took it on the chin last week, guys. So
yep. We're close.
Around.
We lost ours by a half point, and Cord pushed his. So again, we're right. Yeah. We're right on the outskirts.
Yeah, we had
I thought I lost it, but he got sacked in the end zone like in the last play of the game when it was 4th and a mile. So they went for it. I'm like, oh, come on, let's go. And sure enough.
Yeah. But anyway, all right, well, let's go ahead and get into the games for this week. The Beavers are going to try to get on the winning ways. They're hosting Houston.
Beavers are going to try to cover. Just
Late Friday
baby
night.
steps. Stop just building up my hopes.
Yeah. So Houston is a 13.5-point favorite going into Research Stadium.
Yep.
But
We'll see.
But yeah, it's on Friday night, so get an introduction to your weekend for that one.
Everybody's
So
going to see it then. Was it on the CW or something?
no, it's at 10:30 at night, so it's not on the CW. The CW's got
So no one on the
bars.
East Coast is going to see it.
No, not many people. So it'll probably
Into
be on
Saturday
whatever
morning.
ESPN affiliates. But yeah, so it'll be going into Saturday morning. So yep, hopefully they'll be able to show out a little better for that one. But I don't know. And then, of course, the big game for most of us is going to be the Dogs hosting Alabama. But Dogs a 3.5-point favorite, which I gotta admit was a little lower than I thought it was going to be. I think it was going to be more, but I guess with the performance we had against Tennessee, they might be thinking that Ryan Williams and some of the other Alabama receivers might be able to try to do some of the same things Tennessee did. But I don't know. How do you see this one shaping up, Bernie?
I think the Dogs win. I think they win handily. I've read about it a couple of times this week on the blog, and just really pumped up for this game. We have not turned the tide, so to speak, in our favor. We got the national championship when we played against them up in Indy, but haven't won since then. I think Kirby is 1-6.
Yeah.
We're 6-13 against them since 1984. So if they're still, I think one thing Dog fans and Bama fans can agree on is Alabama is not what it was a couple years ago.
Mhm.
I think we can both see that. So we got to take advantage of it. We still got to get, Saban out of our minds, roaming the other sideline, and we got to get that, just prove that we are the gold standard now, and that's what we want to do. That's what the way it was kind of shifting. But last year's game kind of got stuck in mud. But this year, I do think it goes differently. I think they, with the week off, going to be shoving the ball down their throat and kind of open up our play action game, and hopefully get out of there with a great Georgia victory.
Yeah. How about you, Cord? What are your thoughts, bud?
Not so fast, my friend.
Oh, Lord.
UGA, and you guys know this, they typically start slow. And if they're going to start slow with Alabama, they're going to be in trouble. Ty Simpson and Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams, they can score really quick. Those two receivers are averaging between 18 and 20 yards of reception. Ryan Williams just had a huge game, his last game, like 165 yards. Ty Simpson's 90% pass completions his last couple of games. So their offense is clicking. Both teams have explosive players. UGA typically controls the ball more, ground and pound type offense. But I think it's going to be a high scoring game. And Bama has to win this one because looking down the road, they still have Vandy and Tennessee and LSU and Oklahoma and Auburn. So their backs are against the wall. It'll be a little bit of advantage for Georgia being at home, but the last 5 or 10 years they've had Georgia's number. So we'll see. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, though.
Yeah.
And I think Georgia's secondary is going to be in the spotlight to see if they can cover those guys.
Yeah. I mean, again, Ryan Williams had several of those big plays against us last year, but I mean, he's been really slow to get started this year. So, I mean, again, like you talked last week, he did finally have a really good game. But yeah, I think it's going to be, going back to the FSU game with Alabama. I mean, that was one of the big things, Castellanos, for them. And he didn't really have a great passing day. It was all on the ground. I mean, they threw for under 150 yards, and they just basically they took the air out of the ball and just kept running it. It was long drive after long drive after long drive, and that's one of the things that I was listening to somebody talking about today. The fact that the Alabama's got on paper has more explosive plays, is getting more yardage on things, but they can't get their defense off the field. Or they just keep giving up these long sustained drives to teams that are good, that have a good running backs. And I mean, and we've
That's what
proven that.
Georgia does.
Yeah, I mean if we can do that, and then, but I mean, I think our defensive line has got to do something. I mean, that Florida State line was able to harass the Alabama quarterback that whole first game. He was running for his life, and we've got to be able to find a way to generate some of that pressure. They did it with their front four. I mean, we've got to hope that we can have an effort like we did against Texas last year with the front four, or make some different packages where we're able to get things and make it so they can't get somebody wide open really quickly, but get to them to make them. I mean, like Aguilar, once he was moved off his mark or pressured a little bit, we had a lot better chance. But I mean, if you let him just sit back there, then yeah, they got receivers that they can get open and create some big plays. So we need our offensive line. Hopefully, again, they were able to get healthy over the course of this week and are going to be at a better rotation and be able to stand up to Alabama's pass rush. But I mean, I think we do have a really good chance, especially if we do take the air out of the ball, do more of the controlled passing game, take a few shots, which Gunner showed he could do against Tennessee. And I think we got a really good chance too, especially at night. I'm surprised that it's just a 3.5 point spread. I thought it was going to be, I mean, because that's almost what you get for just having a home game anyway. I wouldn't have thought we were even on paper, but I don't know. I guess these people know things, and because we've been right on those lines and everything with a lot of
Vegas
the other
always has a way.
They do, but I agree. I mean, I think with our running backs and the work that Branch has done and how Dylan Bell has reemerged and London Humphreys and everything, we got a more well-rounded attack, because Alabama has not run the ball well yet, I don't believe. So
not like they have in the past.
No, definitely not. And against their quarterback's not a running threat like Milroe was last year, which, I mean, it's like we thought. one of the podcasts is like the podcast I listened to were talking about the fact that last year, I think Georgia's defense didn't think that the Alabama quarterback was allowed to run outside of the tackles in the first part of the game, because we sure didn't act like we could tackle him when he ran outside the tackles. So if we can keep him hemmed in and get some pressure on him, I think there's going to be some good things. And our defensive backs, I am sure Kirby and our defensive coaches have been in all over them about being able to make those big plays now. So,
yeah, got to have it.
Got to have it. So, but yeah, I think Georgia's going to win, and I think they're going to win by closer to 10 points. So,
take the over.
Yeah, I wonder what the over is. I haven't looked at that. What is it?
51, 55.
You were talking about it like you knew what it was. So,
I'm just saying, take the over. Whatever it is, it'll be over.
Gotcha. All right. Well, there's some other really big games happening this weekend too. I know one of them's happened the same time as Georgia and Alabama, with Penn State, or actually Oregon, traveling to Happy Valley to play Penn State. Penn State is a favorite in that one, I think, by 3.5 as well. That's going to be a really big game. Then, and I think you mentioned earlier the Ole Miss and LSU. Is that this week? That's the one this weekend too at 3:30, yep. Correct?
That's at Ole Miss. I think it's during the day probably again too.
Yeah, it's a 3:30 game.
Yeah.
So that's a 3:30. And Ole Miss is a 1.5 point favorite in that game.
Yeah, LSU, they got one of the better defenses in the country, and Texas Tech and Miami, I think, spent the most in the NIL, and it's paying off for them.
Mm-hmm.
But their offense is suspect. They've only scored 20 on Florida, 23 on Louisiana Tech, and 17 on Clemson. So if depending on who they're playing on the quarterback for Ole Miss, I think they can. If they can score, they're gonna do well. And Landry Kiffin hard launched her relationship with the linebacker from LSU, Whit Weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
his dad used to play for Georgia. I think he's a North County boy.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I think she's probably going to help out the team too.
So, but yeah, I mean, again, that one's a low spread. But yeah, I haven't heard about Nussmeier if his core injury has gotten any better. But I know that's one of the things they had talked about that was thing why he was struggling against Florida the week before. But yeah, he's not been quite as explosive as he was last year. So it'll be fun to watch. It's gonna be a lot of good football. So, but anything else y'all want to talk about? Any other thoughts before we wrap up for this week? Oh, actually, we got to make our locks of the week.
Yep.
Pick our locks of the week. All right. Well, Bernie, we took yours last week. Do you want to go ahead and take a chance or take the opportunity and go first so you can make your pick?
I'm taking the Dogs. I actually got them at -3, and they're still at -3.
Okay.
Over under I saw was 52.5, just for you, Cord. So, but yeah, I'm going with the Dogs all the way, and don't think we'll need the 3 points to disagree with some with Cord. But this is a game you have to bring your best game to, and we just have to do that. I understand Cord's point; it's a must-win for them, but Georgia can't lose this game and go into the rest of the schedule happy.
How about you, Cord? What you going to go with?
I am going with Ole Miss. I think they're gonna take it to LSU, and based on the reasons that I laid out earlier, and both quarterbacks are lights out for Ole Miss. It's just that I don't know if Simmons is going to be healthy or not, so I think Lane's probably going to go with Chambliss. But man, that kid can't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Leave him in.
Yeah. Well, I think for my pick, I'm actually going to go with the opponent we last had. I'm going to go with Tennessee there. I don't know what y'all have that line at, but I saw was Tennessee was -7.5 going to Mississippi State.
Yep.
I know Mississippi State has started off well, and they're 4-0, but I don't know. I think their dreams come crashing down a little bit this week, and Tennessee is going to want to, again, keep going after they lost to Georgia and everything. So I think they're going to be able to beat Mississippi State by more than the 7.5. But
you got a 7.5, Bernie, or 8?
I'm looking for it. Hold on.
Regardless, I think it'll be 17.
Yeah, but yeah. So we'll see. I mean, hopefully the cowbells don't scare Aguilar too much down there, but that could be intimidating and deafening and mind numbing, I'm sure. But anyway, all right. Well, I mean, I think that's gonna about wrap us up for this week. Unless y'all got something else, anything, gentlemen?
That's it.
Going once,
that's it for me.
going twice. All right. Well, thank you all for hanging around with us, and we are definitely hoping for some good outcomes this weekend, and look forward to settling in. It's actually my 27th wedding anniversary this weekend too. So I know she's hung on me for quite a while. So anyway, thank you to Christine for that, and to you two as always for doing this with us. But until then, next time, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Ole Miss.